Hi, everybody, and welcome to Maker Paradise. This is the crowdfunder introduction part of our show where we introduce crowdfunders to the rest of our community around the world. And we've already interviewed 150 plus successful crowdfunders. Today, I'm excited to introduce Chris Cantwell to the Maker Paradise community and to crowdfunders all around the world. Welcome to Maker Paradise, Chris.
Thank you.
So the way we do the introduction is we start out by talking about your current project, because for a lot of folks, learning about your current project gives them an idea and a way to sort of frame what your access to crowdfunding is. And then we can go deeper in a second part of the show to talk about your experience. So in terms of your current project, Chris, it is called Quantum Chess, and it has a hashtag Quantum Chess. It's live on Kickstarter now. You already have 566 people supporting you. You've raised $21,000 of your $30,000 goal, and you have about 2 weeks left, so it's going to be close.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like we'll make it.
So, Chris, welcome to Maker Paradise, and tell me a little bit about your project. Like, what inspired you to create this project, and then let's talk about what is Quantum Chess. So let's take it as two questions. So what inspired you to create this project?
Okay, well, the project sort of came about because I showed up to class about half an hour early one time 2 years ago. So I had nothing to do, so I went in and sat in the classroom where my class was going to be and was just playing on my phone. And another professor happened into the room. He was looking for a place to charge his phone, and we got to talking. And so he told me about this course he was going to be teaching the following semester, where he was going to try and teach a lifestyle that promoted creativity. So it sounded interesting to me, and I decided to enroll in it and took the course, and it was a really cool course.
So the way that the inspiration happened is that you're a physics graduate student, and
Yes.
You're doing your PhD now, and you also are doing simultaneously a computer science master's degree. And
Yes.
You're steeped in daily thinking and conversations about physics and trying to learn it, trying to teach it, trying to do research in it. And one day you had this idea where, why can't we make this interactive? Why can't we do something fun that people could just at least test out and see this principle that a lot of people don't really understand? Let's make it intuitive. And so from what I understand, you did something and it just caught on. People just really loved it, and it has gone kind of viral in a way.
Yes.
And you've got all kinds of incredible people involved in it. So let's talk about Quantum Chess briefly. The part about going viral, you've got, I heard Stephen Hawking is involved, and
Stephen Hawking and Paul Rudd and Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter.
Wow, that's exciting. So as a graduate student doing your PhD, I think that what's exciting about this is, and as a crowdfunder, a lot of people who are listening, they might be doing their graduate degrees as well. So what we do is, when we introduce a crowdfunder, we try to find who else could benefit from learning about your story. And a lot of folks, for example, they may not think that they can do crowdfunding, or they may not understand, how can I do it while I'm doing my PhD, or how can I do it while I'm in school, etc. So now, in Quantum Chess, the game itself, let's say that somebody doesn't really understand quantum physics at all, right? How accessible is it for them?
It is as accessible as chess.
Okay.
So if you don't have to use the quantum moves in it. I wanted to make it quantum, but in a way that didn't raise the barrier of entry. So you can play it just like regular chess. You can move the pieces just like regular chess pieces move, but then you have this added ability to instead do a quantum move if you want to. Okay. So as you play and you develop your understanding, you'll start using that more and more to create new quantum strategies.
Sweet. And now the game itself, when people back the game, is it a app? Is it a board game? What is it that people, at what level would they get the reward of the game, and what would they get?
So at the second lowest level. The lowest level is $5 for people who just want to support the project. At $10, you get the game when it's released. That's about what I plan on putting it up on the Steam store for, and it will be a PC, Mac, and Linux version. I'd love to have mobile versions at some point. That's a stretch goal. I want to get there, but we need to get something out first.
Sweet. So for not so much money, people can actually play this on their PC, Mac, or Linux box. And
Yes.
that sounds pretty cool. So it's a game, you're developing it, and you have a really interesting story around it. Now let's talk about the quantum aspect a little bit, because people might be interested in that. So I was looking into this, and I love that you're doing this, by the way. I really, actually really like this kind of project, because you're doing something that's outside of the realm of what normally people have access to, and you're really capturing people's imagination, and you're doing something about it. You're not just you're bringing this idea of quantum mechanics and quantum physics, into the everyday life of lots and lots of people who wouldn't otherwise do it. And I think it has a lot of potential for example, the education market, right? Have you, in terms of your target market, have you thought about what kinds of people would really be your target market for this?
Gotten such a positive reception in so many different communities. I've got people from the education community, obviously, but scientists in general are interested in it because of, obviously, the science in it. Surprisingly, the gaming community seems to have really picked up on it too. They love the concept, and I think it's something brand new to gaming. I mean, there's really not anything else like it out there. Just as an example, we put it up on the Steam Greenlight to try and get onto the Steam store, and in about a week, we're 85% of the way to the top 100 there.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think there's something here that's really, as I said, it's exciting. People, when they play games or they're reading fantasy books or whatever, they want something beyond the normal everyday physics, and you're giving them a chance to be in touch with quantum mechanics in a kind of a simple way. And this is your first crowdfunding campaign, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share about quantum chess by way of introduction to both the crowdfunding community as well as to your backers and to anybody who might be interested in backing you that we didn't cover yet in this first part of the show?
Anything else about quantum
It's
chess?
fun. You can just say it's super fun.
Well, it actually really is. And it's funny because I just did a live stream last week, and it's the first time I've actually just played the game for fun. Before that, it was always playtesting. And at one point in the stream, I said, this is actually really fun. Because it was the first time I had actually just sat down to see, okay, is this a fun thing? And it really is. It's a lot of fun.
Before we wrap up this segment, I just want to share a little bit more that I learned about quantum chess. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next piece. But essentially, the way I understand that it works is that I can, again, play it regularly. And then at some point, I can choose to add in a quantum move. And a quantum move is a move that involves, in some sense, probability, but it's not really probability. It's quantum dynamics, quantum mechanics. And so the move is happening and not happening at the same time. And so essentially the piece can be theoretically in two positions, but you don't know until it's measured later on. And when something comes into contact with that piece later on, and there's other rules involved, which I'm simplifying and maybe not getting 100% right, but then the outcome of where it really is can be determined later. So it adds this other layer of kind of, here I move this piece, but then there's this, possibility that it's in two places at once. Is that correct me where I'm wrong, because I don't think I got it.
That's a pretty good simplified description of it. I mean, it's in two places at once. And
it's in neither at the same time, almost, right? And so as a result of that, what can happen is that, let's say you have a piece that's on the board in normal chess, in normal physics, that piece is just solidly there, and it's just dominating that space, and it's just, there's no quantum quandary involved. But when you have quantum chess and you move that piece there, then there's a quantum quandary, and another piece can move there, and then there's sort of this outcome, like what's reality at this point, right? So, and
And that is an arbitrary rule I chose. I said, okay, there can't ever be a possibility of more than one piece in a space. So in actual quantum mechanics, I mean, that could be possible because, well, if it's not there, then the other piece could be there. So I had to frame the rules to make it, to sort of, there's a balance between making it quantum enough so that you get quantum effects, but also making it comprehensible and playable as a game.
Yeah, and I think that the one idea there also is when you're moving a piece there, you're creating some kind of observation. So that's almost requesting an outcome, if you will.
Yeah.
So we can talk more about that later. But anyway, I think this is a great introduction to the crowdfunding community about your project and also your background a little bit. Doing your PhD, doing a master's degree, and doing a crowdfunding project at the same time. So for folks that are watching or listening to this episode on either our podcast or video channel, if you're a backer, share his story. He's got a great story. His story is actually a lot more interesting than this in his video, but this is nice because we get to talk to him directly and it's interactive. And for backers, a lot of times sharing additional social media really helps a campaign. So if you enjoyed this introduction to Chris to the crowdfunder community, go ahead and share it. And for people who are considering backing it, I gave you another way to think about quantum chess, and so hopefully you now are motivated to support the campaign. That's it for this introduction to a new crowdfunder on Maker Paradise, and we'll see you next time.